Okay. And it is time to work. The thing I don't have here, or I don't have clean here, are blankets. So just have a plethora of mats and blocks and a yoga ball, you know. Just, oh, I do have a chair. So I don't think we'll use it, but. All right, so sit up straight. Press your hands down, lengthen up through your side waist and side chest. Move your arm bones back to bring your shoulder blades into your back. Keep this lift as you release your hands to your thighs and close your eyes. Descend your thighs. With even and equal weight in your two sitting bones, lengthen up through the front of your body again. Press your lower shoulder blades into your back ribs to lift your chest. At the same time, keep a lift in your abdomen so you're not sticking your lower ribs forward. Soften your neck and throat. Release your jaw. Rest your tongue to the base of your mouth. Take slow, even breaths. And then gently open your eyes. All right, come over to child's pose. Take your knees apart, sit back on your heels. Extend your arms forward. Press your palms into the floor, turn your upper arms out. Notice if there's any grip at the top of the thighs. Release there. One way to release there is to pull your lower abdomen in slightly. Then come up to your hands and knees. Tuck your toes under. Lift your hips high. Come into Adho Mukha Svanasana. Downward facing dog. Press your entire hand into the floor. Turn your upper arms out. Relax your neck. From the pressure in your hands, push forward, take your hips back. Walk your hands back towards your feet. Pull forward. Walk your hands forward. Come into downward facing dog. Walk your hands back, come into Uttanasana. All right, place your hands on your hips, come all the way back up. All right, I'm going to use a bolster today in lieu of blankets. You can as well. So you don't have to use blankets or a bolster. But we're going to do Urdhva Prasarna Tadasana, 30, 60, 90. So you can place your lower back on the blankets or bolster and lift your legs up in the air. Roll your thighs in. Squeeze your legs together. Then lower your legs about to 60 degrees from the floor. Squeeze your legs together. Lower your legs so they're halfway to the floor. And if you feel your lower back popping up, you need either more blankets under your buttocks or not to go down so far. Lower your legs another half. 22.5 degrees. And lower them just shy of parallel to the floor. And then lift them back up. So now you can reassess and decide if you need more blankets or taking your arms by your hips will also help. A little less. Inhale with an exhalation, lower your legs halfway to the floor. Then halfway again. And halfway again. And lift them back up. One more. Squeeze your legs together. Look at your legs, see if the knees are pointing toward your, pointing the same direction. And then lower your legs halfway. Halfway again. Halfway again. And lift them back up. All right, bend your knees in toward your chest. Then roll to your side and come back up. Now you're going to lie on your sticky mat so that your arms and shoulders line up with the edge of the sticky mat. Like this. I think you can see that. And you're do Jatara, Pardhavottanasana, abdomen turning pose. So you pull your knees in, we'll keep the knees bent, and we'll take them from side to side. All right? So roll your shoulders under, extend your arms out. Palms up is harder, palms down is slightly easier, but not by enough. You can also hold on to the sides of the sticky mat and push it out from the center. Okay. Pull your knees in towards your chest. Press your feet together, spread your toes. Then keeping your knees as close to your chest as possible. Take your legs over to the right. About halfway to the floor. So you're holding your legs up. At the same time, turn your abdomen to the left. So the further the legs go to the right, the further the abdomen and the chest go to the left. Then with your next exhalation, lift your legs back up. Inhale, with your next exhalation, take them over to the left, about halfway. And then as you exhale, turn your chest, your ribs, your abdomen to the right. Your head can stay on the center. Then with your next exhalation, bring your legs back up to the center. All right, now this time when you go over to the right, try to take your feet a little away from the floor. So take your knees over to the right. Turn your abdomen to the left. And then try to lift your feet a little higher than your knees. It won't probably work, but you'll feel a little something different when you do that. Come back to the center. Take your legs over to the left. Turn your abdomen to the right. And then try to lift your feet higher than your knees. And come back to the center. You release your feet onto the floor for a minute. All right, lift your legs back up. Now you can try it with straight legs. When you do this pose with straight legs, your feet are aiming for your hand. So you're not trying to go straight out to the side, like in line with the hips. You want to lift your feet closer to your head to begin with. Then turn your feet to face your right hand or your knees. Don't worry about it feels unstable. Then you just take your feet a little bit over. And first, so you're taking your feet a little bit to the right, and then turn your abdomen to the left. Then take the feet a little bit more to the right, turn the abdomen a little bit more to the left, to the point where you feel some work, but not loss of control. So I can't go down to just above the floor without collapsing. So I'm gonna stay at about 45 degrees. And bring your legs back up to center. Take a breath. And take your feet over towards your left hand. Again, turn your abdomen to the right. Squeeze your legs together. Don't let the hips shift. I guess I can show what that looks like. What it means is when you look at your feet, the feet are not lined up. They can be a little off, but not severely so. Then lift your legs back up to the center. Right, release your feet to the floor. Take a break. We'll do it one more time. Lift your legs up. Try to get your feet over your head. Then turn your feet to the right. Take your legs down to the right, aiming for your hand. Look at your feet. See if the left leg is pretty far back of the right. Extend the left hip, left leg toward the right leg, toward the right foot. Now with your next exhalation, bring the legs back up to center. Over to the left. Then extend the right leg so you can have fairly even hips. You don't have to have them exactly even in this pose, but you're going to more even than not even. Then with your next exhalation, lift them back up. Bend your knees and release them to the floor. All right, turn to your side so you can watch this next one, because this isn't a named pose. There you go. Okay. So you're going to lift your legs up like you were doing for Jatara Parvattanasana, but you're going to cross your legs. So your right leg will go on top of your left, like this. It looks like this. All right. And then you're going to bring your knees as close to your ribs as you can. Extend your arms and do a little sit-up. All right. So lie back down. Bend your knees towards your chest. Take your right leg over your left. And then your knees should be together. Yes. Now, bring them as close as possible as they'll go, and then do a little sit-up and extend your arms either side of your shins. So go more towards the ceiling and feet more toward, let me show you, feet more towards the hips. Like this. All right, come back down. Change the cross of your legs. And then pull them in, lift up, extend your wrist. A little sit up. Holding onto your feet is cheating. And then release down. All right, roll to your side. Come up to Dandasana. Flat on the floor. Bend your knees, lift your chest. Bring your hands behind, lift your chest some more. Take your feet off the ground. For this one, take your right leg over your left. All right. Then take your left leg over your right. No. Okay, I go back down. Now you're gonna do the same thing you just did on the floor, but you're gonna do it sitting up. So, right leg over left, arms forward. So it's kind of a variation on Namaste. Change. Change. You stay longer. Change. Change. Let's see, that's the first side. And the second side. And come back down. All right. So that's preparation for a pose I can't do. Called Lolasana. So I'll show how I get into it. I learned a really weird way of getting into it, and I couldn't do it. So I get into it by taking my right leg in front of my left. Wait, that's not it. Sorry, wrong pose. Right leg underneath my left, and sitting down on my feet like this. So when you do that, I'm not going to switch legs. Your left leg is higher. So my left leg is pushing into the calf of my right leg. So this is, okay, so does this seem similar to what we just did? Yes, good. All right, so for wrist pain, you can repeat one of the other ones we just did. because you're gonna, now I'm using medium blocks and I'm still not gonna get up. Well, you know, maybe miracles happen, I'll get up today, but even with medium blocks, I don't think I've ever gotten up in this pose. But maybe flat blocks would be a good way to start if you have long arms. So what you're gonna do is you have to hunch over and pull your abdomen in strongly, all right? I look a little bit forward, and then I try to push my arms down and lift my legs up. And usually nothing happens. But what I can do to get the same action in the abdomen is push my right foot into the floor and lift up a little bit. So from the front, that looks like this. All right, try that. So right leg underneath the left. Bring in the blocks so they're at mid-thigh. If you put them too far back, it won't work. If you put them too far forward, it won't work. And then pull your lower abdomen in. So your left knee, when I look at you, your left knee should be higher than your right. All right. Now press your arms down. Good job, Suzette. Press your arms down and lift your knees off the floor. If this hurts your wrist, do it on your back or in Lolasana. So if your knees come up, you might come all the way up. Suzette can actually swing, which it is called pendant pose. I can just think about it. Yes, you can do it that way too, Marcia. All right. Okay, now we're going to switch legs. So the left leg is underneath, the right leg is on top, like this. Now I have big legs, so the difference in height is really noticeable. Those with thinner legs, they won't have as much difference in height, but there's always a difference in height because your top leg is pressing into your bottom leg. All right, then bring your hands by your mid-thigh, pull your lower abdomen in. With your exhalation, lift your knees. So if you can't lift all the way up to the floor, I think Soko and Suzette have no problem doing this. I think Karen's up there too. Yes, she is. So you can look at them if you want to know how it's really done. And then release down.
What did I do wrong? I heard you say my name.
Oh, because you were doing it correctly.
Oh, okay. Well, woo.
Yeah, I know. Every once in a while, you don't get criticized. So that's Lolasana. That is the first, well, it actually no longer is. It used to be, until they redid the assessment, the first arm balance you learned. And I couldn't see if everyone got up, but a lot of you did, and that's pretty impressive. Usually this is very difficult for women in particular because women carry their weight lower down, whereas I think the other arm balances are much easier. And we'll try another one in just a second. But first we're going to do a palate cleanser, downward facing dog. Now, stretch the backs of your knees. Open your neck. A lot of times in the more difficult poses, like the arm balances, we tend to grip the jaw and such. All right, come down. So we're gonna approach it, the next one, Ekahasta Vajrasana, the same way we did Malasana. So we're gonna start, and you can just watch for a second, lie on the ground. And you're gonna take your right leg as close to your right armpit as possible. And if you want to bend your left leg, that's fine. So you want to get it down here, really open up the hip. You can even take the arm. So you want to get the shoulder underneath the back of the knee, like this. So we're going to start like this, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do next because it's very similar, but it's less of a stretch and more of the arm balance. So we lift the left leg up, and if I could turn that left leg in, it would be better. And lift up just like we did in the other one. All right? So lie down on your back, put your left foot on the floor. You don't have to do the arm balance yet. I was actually demonstrating. I should have made that clear. And pull your right foot as close to the floor as you can. Or your right knee down to the floor. Some of you will be able to get your right knee down to the floor. If your right knee comes to the floor easily, not quite that. So go happy baby. Think happy baby or dead bug. Yes. If your knee comes to the floor easily, you can straighten your left leg. All right, switch sides. Pull your left knee toward the floor. That's not that very good angle. There we go. Opening up the left hip. So once the knee hits the floor, you can work on straightening the right leg and getting it to the floor too. Now go back to the first side. Take the right leg down. Now you're going to work the back of the knee on top of the shoulder. The closer you can get it to your shoulder, the easier this pose will be. There we go. The easier this pose will be. You don't have to turn on your side. When we do it sitting up. So once the knee's on your shoulder, extend your right arm. Bend your right elbow because I said extend your right arm, but I meant like stop riding. I should have been more clear. But you're gonna have to bend your elbow in order for your leg to have something to rest on. Then extend your left leg straight up and do a sit up. And come down. Now you have to switch sides. Bend your left leg, bring it down towards the floor, even if your right hip comes up, because the closer it is to your shoulder, the more success you will have in this pose. Now, I didn't say this on the other side, I should have. Clamp down on the right arm. So you have to use your hamstrings actually to bend your left leg. So it's clamped without holding the foot. Then extend your right leg up Do a sit up and extend your arms. There we go. And come back down. Right, grab your blocks again. Now, if you have a shorter torso or longer arms or whatever, you probably don't need blocks for this one. It doesn't help you as much as it does for Lalasana. So, and actually, if you had success in Lalasana, chances are you'll have success in this one. All right, now I have to mirror. Grab your right foot. Bring it back, like this. Now, hold your right foot with your left hand. Then you have to sneak your right shoulder underneath. Now I have to pull the flesh of the calf out of the way just to have room for my arm. All right? So your right arm is not holding your foot anymore. Then clamp down on your right shoulder and lean forward, place your right hand on the floor or a brick. Then place your left hand on the floor or a brick. Lean forward. Now, so both hands are on the floor. Your right leg is kind of hanging out on your right arm. If it is sliding, you need to move it closer to the shoulder. Use skin on skin. You can see I'm going for the muscle shirt here, showing off my farmer's tan. So I have skin on skin. They stick better. All right, but you need this right shoulder shelf. Then if that's all going well, or even if it's not, you can try it anyway. Press your hands down, lift your hips off the floor, and then lift your other leg off the floor. Or not. You could go back to this one. You don't have to put your hands on the floor. All right, let's try the other side. I cannot hear your exasperated sighs from here. All right, grab your left foot. Bring your left knee back. And get it back as far as possible. Hold it with your right hand. Sneak out under your left leg. Sneak your shoulder under your leg. And then clamp down. Take your left arm out to the side so that your elbow is bent and it has somewhere for your leg to rest. Clamp down, lean forward, place your hands on blocks of the floor, push down, lift yourself up, and then lift your straight leg up. Then you will get a cramp. Chances are in the top of that thigh. Yes. I'm just watching. Suzette, you need more of an elbow bend. Kathy, I can just watch you looking at me. See, it's good. It's all good. Let's see. That looks pretty good. All right. So some of you got up, some of you didn't. No big deal. Downward facing dog. Or if your wrist had enough, just put your elbows on the floor. Walk your feet forward, place your hands on your hips, come all the way up to standing. Stand, if you need something for balance, stand fairly close to a wall. So that if you fell back, you would fall onto the wall rather than the floor. Start Tadasana. We're going to do Garudasana. Doing all the poses I'm bad at today. All right. Bend your knees. Lift your right leg. Bring it as high up on the left leg as possible and wrap it around. Turn. Squeeze your legs together, but imagine turning them inward. It will make you sit down a little deeper and also lock your legs together more. People keep switching places, don't they? All right, then lift your arms up. Take your right arm underneath your left and squeeze your elbows together. Yeah. If you can wrap your top foot around your bottom leg, do that. I can't do that. Yes, good, so go. All right. And then come out, release your arms, release your legs. Second side. Bend your knees. Lift your left leg as high up and around your right leg as possible. And find your balance there. Roll your thighs inward. Lift your arms up. Take your left arm underneath your right. Squeeze your elbows together. Then release your arms, release your feet. Go back to Tadasana. All right, take your feet wide apart. For Tadasana. Line up your feet with the edge of your mat or some kind of straight line. Put your hands on your hips, elbows back, lift your chest. With an exhalation, fold forward. Bring your hands to the floor, look forward. More blocks. Then walk your hands back, lower your head to the floor. Or do a bolster or whatever works. I actually like the feeling of my head hanging, but walk your hands forward. Place your hands on your hips. Come all the way back to standing. To Tadasana, bring your feet together. All right. So it's headstand time. If you're not doing headstand, let's see if this is the right height. It's a little low. You'll do supported downward facing dog. So there's still a little weight on the head, but not a lot. So that's your alternative. Only one alternative. Close to the camera so I can see.
Push your forearms into the floor, loosen headstand. Move your shoulder blades towards your hips, everybody. Let's see, where's that? I can't tell, Suzette, you're kind of in the dark. Are you on your, I guess there's no way to, I guess you could do this, put your feet together. If you're on your yoga toilet. Yes. Take your heels a little bit further back, Karen, hips further forward. You got a nice straight line behind you, so makes it easy on me. Your window there, or, I don't know if that's a sliding glass door or a regular window, but has a nice line in it. You're right lined up with it, so I can see. Yeah, Ty, you can rest in child's pose. Anyone can rest in child's pose, actually. By the way, if you're into this kind of thing, today is Devon's birthday. So you have her email or text, you can send her happy birthday wishes. All right, start to lower down. Do it with control. And then rest with your head down.
Next is the, I guess I should just start calling this the handstand trio. The L pose this way. The L pose this way. I can actually see it this time. Here. I don't have to face my butt to the camera. Or for full arm rounds. So pick one of those. See how it feels. So if your wrist is had enough, you're going to place your hands on the wall. If you pick up easily, pick up with the other foot. Or with your leg, yeah. Oh, I got my bolster. I haven't tried that one out. I'll probably make a lot of noise because I'm upstairs. No. Straighten your left arm, Soko. All right, come on down. Up. Unless Kathy wants to go up, I can watch. Oh, you want it? There we go. Okay. You know, I don't really need this mat. I now have a room like Bob where, but I don't know. I guess I'm just used to the mat. All right, lie on your belly. So we worked the front of the core. We're going to work the back of the core now. We'll do Salasana. Lie on your belly. Take your hands by your hips. Be on the midpoints of your feet. Activate your quadriceps. Bring your shoulder blades towards each other. Keep your quadriceps activated, lift your legs, lift your chest, lift your arms. Extend through your fingertips, extend through your toes. Your feet can be hip width apart. Relax your jaw. Focus your breath so that you're not lifting up and down a lot. Move your breath to the sides. And exhale, come down. Readjust your legs. Do it a couple times. Interlock your fingers behind your back. Activate your quadriceps. Beyond the midpoints of your feet. Lift your legs, lift your chest, lift your arms. Imagine that someone's pulling your hands back towards your feet rather than lifting them up. Keep your legs straight by keeping your quadriceps active. Come down. Change the interlock of your fingers. Reset. Lift your quadriceps. Lift your legs. Lift your chest. So when I say lift your quadriceps, I do mean lift them off the floor if you can. But really I'm saying activate your quadriceps. And come back down. All right. So if that is okay on your rack, we can move on to the next one. We just take the arms forward. Superman. Activate your quadriceps, lift your legs, lift your arms, lift your chest. Extend through your fingers, extend through your toes. Again, your feet can be together or hip width apart. And come down. All right, push back into child's pose. And then come up to kneeling. So, Ustrasana, we missed it, I think, last week. So we get it this week. You can have a blanket on your heels. Wow. Or you can have blocks either side of your feet. Like this. So that when you bring your hands back, there's something for your hands to push down into. So a bolster is probably the easiest to find. The blocks are a little harder to find, but not everyone has a bolster. The heels are also there. So if you can touch your heels, then don't worry about the other props. Okay, start sitting on your shins and push your shins into the floor. See if there's any space under your shins. If you have really high arches, there will still be space under your shins. I've seen people whose shins don't go down to the floor. But the trick is, can you keep whatever's on the floor as you come up? Not as strongly, probably. All right, so take your elbows back, lift your chest, lift your sternum higher and higher. Press your shins down, start to arc back. Imagine somebody's head is in between your shoulder blades, lifting your chest towards the ceiling. And then take your hands back on whatever support you have. Push your hands down to push your feet down. Or, well, I guess if you have blocks, that wouldn't work. But otherwise, push your feet down, lift your chest more. And then come back up, sit back on your heels. Yeah, that was good. Let's do it again. Come up. So if Ustrasana is old hat for you, it's never old hat. You're gonna reach back and grab the feet at the same time. Something I learned from Devin. So it's her birthday today. That's one of the things I learned from Devin. I learned many things from Devin. All right, place your hands on your hips, lift your chest. Get up higher and higher with your chest. Press your shins into the floor, arc back, reach back for your blanket or your bolster or whatever. Come into Ustrasana. And then come back up. Sit down. Okay. Now Ustrasana the other way up. Chatushpadasana. So lie on your back with your feet close to your hips. Press your upper arms into the floor, press your heels into the floor, lift your hips up. Roll your shoulders under, lift your hips up higher. Soften your neck and throat. Keep pressing with the inside of your feet, so it's not all the way, it's going out to the outside of your feet. Lift your hips higher. Relax the skin of your face and your forehead. Yes, that's part of your face. And then slowly lower your hips down to the floor. All right. Now you can do the shoulder stand at your choice. I'm going to show Seti Bandha because I have a bolster and a block. So I'm going to show how I set that up when I have all my props ready. So I'm going to put two blocks at the wall and their bolster's not that tall. I'm going to put them on their medium height. I'm going to take the bolster to the wall. This works really well if you have a slippery floor. So if you're on carpet, this doesn't work at all. So I want to get it so that my shoulders are on the floor, but that's the only thing. The shoulders and head are on the floor, but not in part of the back. Then I hold on to the bolster and just straighten my legs. And then I'm at the perfect distance from the wall so that I can press my feet into the wall. And so I'm not searching for the wall. When you do it from the other way, where you're not quite there, you're either too close and then you can't push, or you're too far and just your toes hit the wall and it's not as comfortable. So this works best with a slidey floor. The only other option for me today would be a chair shoulder stand. I have some foam bricks, but probably use them. So chair shoulder stand, the bolster would be another option for me. I also can do this with the rope wall, but I won't show that. So you can do regular shoulder stand, chair shoulder stand, Setu Bandha, whatever works for your neck, your setup. In whatever position you're in, you want to pay attention to your legs, because even though they're in the air here, though they're not the base, they still have to work to make the pose lighter on the neck and shoulders. And so have your knees facing the same direction, no matter what pose you're in. It's true for all of them. Knees parallel to each other. You can even have your, even if your legs were apart, they would still be parallel. Keep your quadriceps engaged. Whatever position you're in, your shoulders are rolled under. Broaden across your collarbones. Push your upper arms into the floor. That helps you broaden across the chest. That's better, Karen. Your hips could be a little further forward. Yeah. Bob, straighten your right leg. That's the one on the chair. Yeah, there you go. I think your left leg is turned out just a smidge. Yeah, there you go. Marcia, you and Bob are doing the same thing. Not something I instructed. All right, start to come down. I know those on the chair are like, we just got here. See how slowly you can roll out so that, oh, you're fine, Jai. But from coming into shoulder stand, especially if you're in freestanding shoulder stand, see if you can come out without your head popping up. I noticed, I think it was last week, that there were a couple heads popping up when you roll out. Okay. Come up to seated. And I'm going to, since I don't have a blanket, I think I have another sticky mat. Oh, I have this. I have a hot yoga sticky mat. It's kind of funny. Anyway, so we're going to do Gomukhasana. It's kind of related to all this twisty up stuff that we've been doing. So to get into Gomukhasana, I get on all fours, and I take the right leg in front of the left, and I move my knees as close together as possible. Then I squeeze my legs together and walk my hands back until I'm sitting up. Now, if I need some lift under my hips for balance, then I can place a blanket behind. All right, so get the legs set up. And this is a little hard on the feet, a little hard on the ankles. Stretches them out. So take the right leg in front of the left and sit back. Sit on your feet, Bob. I think I see them sticking out. That's a different one. Yeah. That one's a lot more comfortable. I like that one a lot more, but that's not the one we usually do. All right. Now take your right arm up, turn your palm behind you and pat yourself on the back. Take your left arm as far back as possible and reach up for your right arm. So now you're, we're doing a different pose, but John Schumacher called this like, this is what people think you're doing when you're doing yoga. Like they think you're all twisted up and doing something crazy like this. This isn't that crazy. Lift your chest, get taller. Same time, sit down lower and lower onto your feet. Then release your arms. Come forward. Take your left knee in front of your right. Squeeze your shins towards each other. You might have to move the flesh of your calf out of the way. And so I think there was, Karen, I think there was something wrong with your internet or something. I think that was you. All right. So find your balance. So you have to, usually you have to sit down on something. You can pull in and balance without. And lift your left arm up. Turn your palm back. Pat yourself on the back. Take your right arm around behind. And see if you can grab your opposite arm. If you can't grab your opposite arm, you can use a strap, or you can just press your hands into the back. Lift your chest. As you lift your chest, descend your hips. And release your arms. Take your shoulders, come forward. Stretch your legs out in Dandasana. All right, well, I mean, Bob's way was perfectly legitimate. I will show with a bolster. Some of you won't need any support at all. But it's very similar to the pose we just did, and it's actually called the same thing. So you take your right leg in front of your left, but this time you take your feet apart. And then you sit down, a little hard when it's all sticky. All right, you sit down between your feet. So rather than sitting on your feet, which is the Gomukhasana in Light Yoga, this is a different kind of Gomukhasana. And actually looks a little more like, I don't know, a cow's head. So you can sit, this is what it looks like from the other side. Well, if you're sitting on height, your feet are sticking out to the sides, and you're sitting down on something. Okay.
Very question. On the first Gomukhasana, ideally, are you sitting on one foot or both feet?
Both. So it looks like, no, you're sitting on one foot. Sorry, I'm thinking of a different pose. So you're trying to have this foot next to this foot, but I think you have to have pretty thin legs for that to happen. You also have to be very flexible. You're very flexible in the hips, Bob. So, and you don't have really thick legs. So you might be able to get your feet together. I've never been able to get my feet together. But they line up. But this one is more, more comfortable, but it's also more of a hip opener than the other one, I think. All right, this is my real right. with the right leg on top. Let's do the right arm underneath. We kind of did it the opposite way, the other way. Then release your arms. Okay, so there's two ways to get out of this. There's the fun way and the boring way. The boring way is to go into Dandasana. The fun way, you can only turn one direction. Keep your feet exactly where they are. And switch sides. This works better with high or with, but you have to go backwards. I don't think you can go forwards. Okay, yeah. Anyway, there we go, John. Yeah, keep going. Yeah, don't move your feet. Yeah. I mean, they move. Don't move them in or out. I should say. Yeah, keep going. No, keep going. No, don't go back the other way. All right, switch sides. And then left leg on top, left arm underneath. I'm not mirroring. Just do the opposite. Or do the same. It's like many of you are doing the same. The mirror image. Keep your chest lifted, look forward. Yeah. And then release your arms. And release your legs. Press your thighs down, lift your chest. Take your legs wide. Press your thighs down. Try to open the backs of your knees. Walk your hands forward. Keep your toes pointing straight up. Rest your head in your hands. Most of you can do this. It's unusual. No, I see some people have a little bit of height. That's okay. Walk your hands back in. Hold on to underneath your knees. Pull your feet in, Baddha Konasana. Your chest. Pull on your feet. Possibly come forward. I don't come very far forward in this one, but some people can rest their abdomen on their feet. Come back up, lift your knees up, straighten them out. And then lie back for Shavasana. So, whatever form of Shavasana you wish to do, if you have a bolster out, you can do legs at the wall, or you can have your knees on top of the bolster. I'll show that one. Roll your shoulders under. Soften your neck and throat. Release your jaw. Move the skin of your face to the sides. Let it rest down. All the different ways we can hold tension in our face. Rest your tongue into the base of your mouth. Rest the weight of your body into the floor. Use the next few moments to focus on your breath. Deepen your breath. Bend your knees. Support your head as you roll to your side. Roll a little further to your side and use your arms to lift yourself back up to seated. Take your arms wide, lift your chest. Bring your palms together in front of your heart. Think of something you're grateful for. Namaste.